Hushed tears. Grave silence lingered in the air, that moment of teary suspense, the time where hope seems to linger just a little longer. Where the mother feels the birth pangs anew as the child of her womb is awaiting sentence. The judge's coat so intimidating, not to talk about the defendant's lawyer who is ready to nail the woman to the cross, not caring about the truth but just to win a case. Mr. William, why would you refuse to say a word to anyone and also refuse to get a state lawyer to represent you? Asked Maggie the lawyer, looking straight into the eyes of the accused. I did not want anyone to taint my truth. My story can only be told by myself, said a young man, William, who was in his mid-20s, as he looked around the courtroom to see his devastated mother and his enraged brother who seemed to need more answers from him than anyone. Mr. William, it's not a secret that you have pleaded guilty of murdering your brother's wife. When Maggie paused, William took a moment to look at his brother Mike. May you please tell this court why you did that? William stood speechless for some time as if studying Mike's thoughts. He opened his mouth on numerous occasions to say something, but his throat was too dry to pronounce a word. He stood for a few minutes without saying a word, but tears just flowing down his eyes. William's mother was shocked to see him crying because the last time she had seen him cry was when he was 6 years old. From that time, he never shed a tear, at least not in front of people. He never cried even at his father's burial, despite being the father's boy he was. His mother knew that a can of worms was about to be opened by William, and she wondered if Mike was going to be strong enough to face whatever William was going to say. Mike, despite being the eldest, he was always Mama's boy. Mike never missed any moment, if need be, to hide under his mother's petticoat. At his father's funeral, he had cried more than his mother. He had fainted twice during the burial, despite being a married man by then. He was the family softy, and his late wife Sophia took great advantage of his vulnerability and walked over him as if he was a doormat. Mr. William, please say something. I need to hear your side of the story at least before I sentence you. As it stands, you have given me nothing, said the lady judge, obviously running out of patience, not forgetting to mention that we have other cases that we need to attend to every day. William, like a rising phoenix, he wiped every trace of a tear from his face. I will tell you of a story. I just wish you all will be able to follow through, because I am a storyteller and this story is very critical to my case. He stopped for a moment to study his audience. There was a young boy who lived in the rurals with his parents. When his brother got married, his parents sent the boy to study in the city where the boy was going to live with the brother and his wife. The boy was only 14, he was in his first year of high school, that is Form 1 in Zimbabwe. That was in 2010. The brother's wife was very beautiful, charming, and kind. She loved the boy like her own brother, and the boy became too comfortable around her. They became so close and inseparable. The boy's brother went for a trip abroad that was meant to take a week, but it ended up taking 6 months. One day when the boy was bathing, by that time he was 16, the brother's wife walked into his bathroom and removed her clothes. She advanced towards him, and when she was about to rape him, the boy escaped. The brother's wife was infuriated, and from that day, life took another turn for the boy. Even when the brother came back, he could tell that there was something wrong between his wife and the young brother. Then the big brother asked the boy, "What happened when I was away?" "Nothing, brother. Why?" "I just sensed some tension between you and my wife." "I don't know about that, brother." The young boy had laughed it off, but the big brother was not convinced at all. He continued his quest and asked his wife, "If I tell you, you won't believe me," she had said as she hid under her fluffy sheets on a cold winter night. "What happened?" "I know you very well, darling. When you talk like this, it surely means something happened." "I won't ask again, say it now." The pitch of his voice had changed. Okay. There is no need to yell. I will tell you. Your young brother has started smoking and drinking beer. When I tried to chasten him, he almost beat me, and that is how our tension started. Why didn't you tell me?" He was greatly enraged. "I just didn't want to create a rift between the two of you. Besides, he is just a teenager. He is still experimenting with these things." The big brother did not wait to hear another word from his wife as he stormed out of the room, screaming his young brother's name. That day, the young boy was beaten beyond recognition, and when his brother went to work, his wife gloated of how powerful she was to convince her husband to beat all the people she did not like. Fast forward to 5 years later, when the boy was now 21 years old. He found himself in the company of his sister-in-law and her 3 friends, in his room naked. He wondered what was going on. He tried to think, but his mind was blank. The last thing he remembered was his brother's wife giving him food, and after that he had felt dizzy, and that was when the sister-in-law's 3 friends walked in and helped her to carry him to his room. Seeing all the 4 women naked and him in his birthday suit confirmed the truth he did not want to face. Used condoms were all over the floor, but strange enough, most of them were tied at the top so that the sperms would not spill off. The boy felt too tired as he watched the women picking up the condoms and laughing as they filed out. Later that evening, he tried to ask his brother's wife what had happened to him. "I just took what you couldn't give me willingly," she had smiled mischievously like a seductress as she took a sip of red wine. "My boy, you are now a man. It's a pity that you were still a virgin." She laughed. "And my sperms? Don't worry. I just decided to reward myself a little for the money your brother spends on you. We harvested the sperms and they will be sold at a great price that will help us all to live a better life."